Well, good afternoon and welcome along to Matchday Live ahead of this huge game between two Midlands rivals. And we've got an absolute Leicester legend joining us on the sofa today who also happened to play for both clubs.
Marco Brighton, the best free transfer in Leicester City history, and he'll go down as a Leicester legend.
He's pulled it back for Albrighton! What a big goal that could be! A great escape!
And he deserves that, he really does. He's been excellent today, hard working, white clear, gives you absolutely everything.
Albrighton near side the left, looking for Vardy. Great ball to Vardy! Oh, brilliant!
It's a wonderful ball in from Albrighton.
Leicester City have the lead, and their first ever Champions League goal is scored by Mark Albrighton. History is made in Belgium. You can see what it means to him. He's looking at the heavens in disbelief.
Albrighton arriving, a glancing header, and there's another one, and it's a really good goal. First time passing to Albrighton. First time from Albrighton towards Maddison. Oh, it's a great first touch. Oh, that is absolutely brilliant! The pass from Albrighton was immaculate. Albrighton takes it from him in the centre of the Leicester half, left-footed, knocks one over the top. Barnes on the chase. Barnes has given Leicester City the lead. Wonderful play by the former Villa man Mark Albrighton to set the move away.
An unbelievable finish from Albrighton. He just strikes across the ball.
Mark Albrighton has made a really lively start, running at the defence again. What a ball for Jamie Vardy!
Mark Albrighton, he's shown that quality that added that end product. Wonderful delivery. It was just on a plate for him.
A thing of beauty. Albrighton, as a few times this season, when he's on set pieces, he puts it in a good area. Perfect execution. Keeper no chance. Leicester back in the game.
Chance for Albrighton, time to volley in! Leicester City have 1 foot in the quarter-finals of the Champions League! Mark Albrighton!
It's a real difficult finish, such a clean strike.
It's his first touch. It's a magnificent ball.
Albrighton on the right. A low ball, Vardy's header! And the assist came from Mark Albrighton. Not the first time we've said that down the years. Mark Albrighton, it might be the last time we see him in a Leicester shirt. He's going to milk this, and rightly he should.
I'm so proud that I'm playing for this football club. I'm so proud to have witnessed days like today. It's just absolutely incredible. Look at this, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yes, what a career he had, what a time he had here at Leicester City. I think someone's chopping onions in here. We're not getting too emotional just yet. Mark Albrighton joins us on the sofa. Welcome along to Matchday Live, everybody who's watching ahead of this game with Villa. For now, though, of course, the news broke, didn't it, about Mark this week, but we'll chat to him for the first 10 minutes or so about your career. And I know we've done it before on this sofa, but just there's a bit more poignancy, isn't there, with the news that you've decided this week to hang up your boots. Firstly, hello to you both. And yeah, when and how did you come to the decision this week?
Yeah, I think it's been a long time coming, to be honest. I think maybe 2 or 3 months ago, shortly after the end of the season, I'd made my mind up, and I was sure that this was the way that it was going to go. I left it open for a while just in case something did pop up that really excited me. But in all honesty, there was never going to be anything that would rival what we've had at Leicester for the last 10 years. So anything else would have been a downgrade, which I weren't willing to put myself through. I just thought I'd just rather call it now, get the clarity on it, and move on with the next chapter of my life. On
a real high as well. We saw the interview that we did on that pitch there. We were right by the corner where the Union FS fans did their tifo for you, didn't they? And chanting your name. You've gone and you've done it on a day that you've won promotion back to the Premier League.
Yeah, I think that as well. Like the way that it all ended last year was, I couldn't have asked for a better sign off. The last day of the season, the open top bus tour, it was amazing, and the group of lads as well were fantastic. So to finish with them makes it even more special.
Not many sofas, Matt. I don't usually praise you too much, but there's not many sofas that you'd be on and you're not the biggest Leicester legend on it. I think it's fair to say there's that argument today.
Was that a compliment? Was it?
It was a slight
backhanded.
Yeah, no, whichever. It's always good to see Mark in it. It's just looking at that montage there. I mean, that sort of tells the story, because I was thinking it was going to end about 3 times, and then there's more, and you think, oh God, yeah, he's done that as well, hasn't he? And then more, and it's brilliant. It was great to see. And 10 years at the club, I suppose you're going to have a fair few highlights, and you certainly had them, didn't you? But nice to have the power in your own hands as well, Mark, isn't it? Because a lot of players don't have that luxury.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people, a lot of players over the years that have either retired through injury or been really trying
flogging
to get
it a little bit.
Yeah, and just going too far with it. And I never wanted to do that. I knew what I wanted, and I think I just sort of made the decision and just stuck by it.
Yeah, no, it must be. I don't know who was speaking before coming on air, but not a straightforward decision though, because you're still a relatively young man, and you're I'm guessing you're pretty fit still as well, and you could have done a job, couldn't you, in many places? But it's having that, that spark and that fire yourself. You know yourself, don't you? And
yeah, I think that's it. Like I do believe that. Like I am still young. I probably still could have played for another couple of years.
Yeah, without doubt. Yeah.
I just think you talk about the fire and the spark there, and that was massive for me, because. When I first started out when I was a kid, that was what got me up. That's what got me to training. That's what gave me the career I've had. And I feel like I've lost that over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, being out of contract, it just felt like the right thing to do. I think the only reason that I would have played on would have been for the wrong reasons. Like probably, I say the wrong reasons. Like people are in it for that, but like the money side of it.
Yeah.
And that's never done anything for me. So
No.
I don't think I could have been doing something that I didn't want to do just for the money.
And it gets a little bit tougher, doesn't it, every year as well, as I well know, and many sort of colleagues and teammates that you and I would have had through the years. They talk about the little niggles. I know it don't get too much sympathy from outside, but day to day, those niggles and strains, and sometimes worse than that, they take their toll, don't they? And the fun comes out of it a little bit.
It's so true. Like even the drive. Like obviously, I've always lived in Birmingham, so I was driving sort of an hour and 15 minutes to the training ground, an hour and 15 back, and I was just feeling it after hard training sessions.
Yeah.
And the training sessions have got more intense over the years as well. So
you could do without that.
Absolutely.
Was it pre-season last year, isn't it? We had a chat. You were saying about Enzo Maresca. He makes you and Jamie do as much as everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, do us a favour, because normally winding down a touch, aren't you? But
yeah, I think as well, I probably would have wanted that in a contract that I would sign if I was to sign for a new club, that I get a couple more days off. But no, like I just think that this was the right time to call it and finish on a high.
Sorry, just quickly, basically, the old Ian Marshall favourite when he signed for Bolton from Leicester, and Sam Allardyce was the manager, give him a couple of days off a week. He said, just do a bit of work at home. Did the old heart monitor thing. He put it on the dog. He took him and sent him out in the field. And that was it.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of work here. I mean, barring two very short loan spells at Wigan and West Brom, obviously your whole career was Villa and then Leicester. For your boyhood club, you said it in your statement as well. Obviously, we've got a massive Leicester focus here, but that was a huge part for you as well. And now they're the two clubs, and they're ironically playing today that you love the most now, of course.
Yeah, I think the Villa one. So obviously that was my boyhood club growing up. Like loved them, went every week to watch them, and I didn't know anything else. Like I didn't know that. Obviously, I knew there was other football teams, but I didn't know that such good places exist, because everything that my focus was on was Villa. Like I just loved Villa. My bedroom was, when I was a kid, my bedroom was all Villa, like curtains, bed sheets, like everything was Villa. So obviously that spell was amazing. To, like I said in my statement, to play one game, just come on for 1 minute was more than enough. But then to actually have half of my career there was amazing. And obviously then signing for Leicester, it opened my eyes up to other things and seeing how other clubs are run. And I look back on the 10 years and how this football club has been ran over these last 10 years and the things that it's put on. I look at like the events and whether that be the success or whether that be the bad events, the club just do everything right, and you can see that there's so much thought goes into it, and they just do the right things at the right times.
When you look back at your 10 years, there was probably a stage where this would be a bit of a silly question because of the obvious, if you like, but there's been so many highs that you've had here. What is the number one when you were watching the VT there back, the one moment or the one thing that you're like, yeah, that was it, that was the highlight?
I think it has to be that Premier League win. I could probably think of numerous things that could rival it, but I think that just does stand out on its own. It stands out on its own, like that day and that period of my life was, I don't know, it was just like a.
It seemed mad to you even now.
Yeah.
Like looking back,
but it's all
you're sort of half
everybody
pinching
speaks
yourself
about.
still.
Yeah, it's all everybody speaks about too, man, and it just reminds me like all the time, right? We've won the Premier League, and it's not until you think about the players that haven't won it and the team, like the teams that haven't won it, that you think, oh, actually, like, yeah. Like,
and the longer time goes on, like the further you look back on it, the more amazing it is.
Yeah,
it's like, how the hell did that happen? And you're part of it. It's great.
I saw a great post on X this week, formerly Twitter, of course, that I don't know if you know this or maybe if you'd seen this, but in that season, you were the most creative English player in the Premier League. So you created 62 chances, more than any other English player. I don't know if did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. I knew that I did play well that year. I felt like I played well, and obviously I was consistently in the team as well. Like I was finding myself in the starting lineup more often than not. So I do feel like I did play well, and a part of that was creating chances. So obviously, yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, there was a lot of love, obviously, for you when you posted that, and the news this week from supporters. We picked a couple out. Callum said a career most professionals could only dream of. Forever a club legend. Thank you, Mark. Michael says a true Foxes legend, and they go on and on. I'm sure you read all the comments and you've seen on Instagram the amount of people that have sent you their well wishes. You clearly did mean an awful lot to a lot of people, whether that was supporters, teammates, staff, whatever it might have been.
Yeah, I think when it was announced that I was leaving Leicester, I had a lot of really nice messages then, and that really took me back. But putting this statement out, the messages that I've received in the last few days have, like, it's just blown me away. Like I can't believe the amount and how heartfelt the messages are as well. Even just hearing things about, like, there's teenagers that have grown up, and I've been a big part of their childhood. Like they'll say things like that to me, and I never look at it like that.
Yeah.
So to have been that part, and obviously with the success that we've achieved, it's obviously been a good childhood for that person. And I just, like, the messages that I've had on Instagram and in my my direct messages, I've started flicking through, but there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and every single one of them is like, it makes you emotional. So it makes me emotional speaking about it, but amazing, and I can't thank these people enough.
It's crazy, isn't it? You don't realise probably when you're playing in particular, because you got too much to focus on, but how far-reaching football goes, doesn't it? To, the community, and not just local supporters, etc. it's mad the impact that football has, and your own career, your own contribution to Leicester City's history, big part of that. And yeah, you'll have that. You better get used to it. You've got it for years to come. But even I still get it a little bit. So you'll have plenty coming down the way. But it's nice to have that positive effect. And you're similar to myself. You take time to speak to people, don't you, the supporters, and enjoy that. It's not. It's something to embrace from your point of view. It's not a burden or a hassle. It's a privilege sort of thing. You know, the people think the way they do, rightly or wrongly, about you.
Yeah.
There's that backhanded compliment.
Yeah, I think I've always tended to do that, because even since my time here, there's been people that have reached out to me that have got illnesses or that are struggling like mentally, and coming to watch the games that's their highlight of their
Huge
life.
release,
So I just think, how can you not make that person's day just for that one day? Like, it don't cost anything, and
no.
I just think that's important in the role that we're in.
Yeah, well, just finally, I want to say on behalf of everyone connected with the club, congratulations and thank you for a fantastic career, particularly with us. So,
no, thank you very much.
Right, let's move on
Decent effort, wasn't it?
Today.
Decent
Yeah, he's
effort.
done all right. Let's move on to today. Again, ironically, two of your former clubs, your two main former clubs, going head-to-head in the Premier League. Let's get all of today's teams. I feel like we could have spoken for an hour there, by the way, in the lead up to kick-off just with Mark. But we do have to move on. Steve Cooper has decided to make 3 changes to the side that lost away at Fulham a week ago. This is how they line up. It'll be Hermansen in goal, Christensen, Fast, Akoli for his first start in its central defence, James Justin on the right, first start as well for Oliver Skipp, as well as Jordan Ayew. Harry Winks is alongside Skipp in midfield, Ayew and Fatawu either side of Wilfred Ndidi, who is behind Jamie Vardy. First Premier League starts, of course, for both Ayew and Skipp. On the bench, it's Everson, Mavididi. Oh, we'll switch on to the Villa team now, but there's a number of players on the bench for the Foxes. There we go. Bobby Decordova-Reid, probably the highlight there, or the headline grabber, is new signing Bilal El Khanous. We'll come on to him and Odsonne Edouard in just a moment. Everson, Mavididi, El Khanous, Decordova-Reid, Ricardo, Vestergaard, Samare, Makatia and Buonanotte. A very strong looking bench as well for the Foxes today, who come up against, of course, Champions League Aston Villa, who have a very strong side themselves, led by Unai Emery. They've got Martinez in goal, Digne, Torres, Konsa and Bogard across the back 4, Tielemans and Onana in midfield. We'll potentially get on speaking about Yuri, we might not have time. McGinn and Bailey, of course, the 2 wingers, with Rodgers and Watkins, the 2 furthest forward for the visitors today. Before we start speaking about the new signings, 2 players through the door in the last couple of days. Obviously, the transfer window is now closed. We'll do those in just a moment. But quick word from each of you on the game today before we talk about it in further depth later. It's a big game for Leicester today. We saw how good they were in that second half against Spurs. They start like that, and they've got a real chance of getting all 3 points today.
Yeah, they have. They need to put these performances sort of together. They need to come out of the blocks sharp. Villa are a good side. They've proved that over the last sort of year or so, and it's going to be a difficult game. But I think that they've shown, Leicester have shown spells what they are capable of under this new regime, and it'd be great to see them come out the blocks fast and hit the ground running into this afternoon. Yeah,
it's finding the balance, isn't it? I think of how to go about things as well. You know, whether it's home or away. At times got caught a little bit between 2 stools, I think. But against Tottenham in the second half, that was not the blueprint, but that was probably the sort of performances that Leicester are going to need this season. But can they play like that for 90 minutes? There's times when they're going to have to be cagey and contain a little bit, and different spells in the game. And I think none more so than against Villa today. I think you see there the lineup. There's an attacking threat as well, but there's also a consideration of the opposition. And I think that'll be sort of a common theme going throughout. Buonanotte, instead of not playing, and Ndidi playing there, a bit of a physical aspect of that as well. And they're a big, strong physical side, aren't they, Villa? But really intriguing, because it's been an indifferent start, but you can see potential there as well. Steve Cooper's spoken about that. it's providing that some result on that potential, isn't it?
Yeah, and I guess when you talk about the Ndidi and Buonanotte, whether it could have been him or even El Khanous, we know he's a number 10 coming in as well. But there are options now on the bench, whether it's Mavididi, either of those two. There's forward-thinking players. If it is 1-0 to Villa, like it was against Spurs, we know there's options there to change the game.
Yeah, I think that's massive. To be able to change the game either way is huge, and it looks like we've got energy on the bench now. We've got a real sort of attacking threat there if it needs changing up. But I think I look there with a Coley coming in for his first start, I think it is in the league.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably something to do with the pace that Villa possess.
Yeah.
I think the other day against Fulham, they got done down the side a couple of times, and I expect the managers looked at that and thought that he needs to put some pace in on that back line. So hopefully it's a team that can gel fast and put in a good performance.
Hopefully so. Right, you mentioned Akoli there. He makes his first Premier League start for the club, as do Skip and Ayew. There are a number of the players that have come in during the transfer window. I guess you could include Fatawu in that as well. Obviously, having been on loan last season, he made that move permanent. There were a couple of other moves in this final week of the transfer window. We'll start with the one that happened very late last night as the Foxes swooped for Odsonne Edouard on loan from Crystal Palace.
Hello guys, Odsonne Edouard here. Looking forward to wearing the shirt and see you soon, guys.
Short but sweet, but he looks happy there. Odsonne Edouard, we've spoken to him this afternoon actually, but before the game. He's really excited to be here. Mark will have played against him a number of times, of course, but he brings goals, doesn't he? We know he can find the back of the net.
He looks a bit like stressed out with the late night transfer dealings.
It was a long and late night, he said yesterday. But
were you keeping him up late, chatting away, basically?
Not me.
No, listen, Mark's touched on it really. He has got a certain amount of pedigree, certainly in his time north of the border. He's probably slightly frustrated with his time at Selhurst Park, but it's numbers first and foremost, and it's options, as you said, about that extra attacking threat, which, on the evidence so far and the admission of the manager, Leicester are in much need of, really. And as well as giving that threat at different stages of the game and different types of game, different opposition, etc. But also it buoys the confidence and the belief of the lads as well in the rest of the squad. If we're solely reliant or heavily reliant on Jamie Vardy, Jamie, for whatever reason, is not producing or he's not able to, injured, whatever, the heads can drop as well. But now that won't be the case. There are numerous players that can come in and out, and that's good for the confidence of the rest of the team as well.
Yeah, I think as well, competition for places. I think that's huge. All over the pitch, you've got. But I look, especially in that attacking. That front
variations
front
as well, isn't there?
Now, so many variations. So it just looks a lot stronger than what it did, and I think the manager will be happy with the window in the end. I think with getting the two late deals done, I think he'll be more than happy with the business that we've done, and like I said earlier about hitting the ground running. These players now need to come in and hit the ground running because there's no time to settle in.
Having met him about an hour or so ago, he's quite an imposing figure, actually, Odsonne Edouard, and having been on the same Premier League pitch as him.
He's taller than you mean?
Yes, taller than me. It's not hard, though. Memories of playing against him? Is he a tough competitor?
He is, yeah. He's lively, he's energetic, he'll put himself about, and he gives you that physical presence. But not only that, I think you can see at his time up at Celtic how good he is technically in terms of his finishing and get his knack for goals. So I think it's a good signing. I think it strengthens the squad, and I think he also brings a small part of Premier League experience, because there is quite a lot of that squad that have never played in this league up until this season. So at least he does come with that.
Yep, that is a loan signing then of Odsonne Edouard with Premier League experience, as Mark says. Another one of the deals that got done this week, and we find him on the bench, is Bilal El Khanous from Genk. He's, of course, got no Premier League experience, but a very exciting attacking prospect, and we caught up with him in the box this week.
Yes, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be part of this beautiful club. I think I made a good step and to grow as a player, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited to start with my new teammates. I talked to the manager and to some people from the club, and I talked also to some players who played here in the past. I'm very happy with my choice, and I hope to make big things with this club. I know there is one Belgian guy here, Wout Vaes, but I know also the right winger, Fatawu. I played against him last year in the African Cup under 23, and yes, the striker Jamie Vardy. Everybody knows him. So yes, I'm a technical player. I like to be on the ball, and for sure with the players I will have around me, like Fatawu, like the striker Jamie Vardy, the left winger, and we have also this midfielder from Argentina. So a lot of creative players, and I think we can make beautiful things together. I had a very good band with my previous fans from Genk, like a family, really good together. And yes, I think when the fans are together with the team, it helps also. So I think all together we can achieve big things. I'm so proud to play in big competitions, and I played there with my country. So it's proudness, and then you go that far. We won AFCON under 23. We went to the Olympics. We took the bronze medal, semi-final World Cup. So I'm very happy with this, and I'm proud of what Morocco is doing. I'm excited to train for the first time and to play my first game for this beautiful club. The facilities are incredible. I spoke to the manager a week ago. I met him yesterday when I arrived. So yes, I have a really good feeling, and I hope to make big things here. I'm excited to start.
That was new signing there, Bilal El Khanous, who's joined from Genk this week. Thoughts on that, Matt? Obviously, you won't see much of Genk last season, I'm sure, but you've seen videos of him on social media. He looks like a real prospect.
He does, and all the reports suggest, as you'd hope they would for 20 million nigh on, that he's a talented individual. But probably just what Leicester looking for. Extra numbers again, first and foremost, but creative. Didn't score a hatful of goals last season, but created plenty of chances for his teammates. And he talks confidently as well, doesn't he? As if he's got a bit of belief in himself, rightly so. And everything's positive about that at the moment. And with Buonanotte there as well as yet another option, you've got at least a couple of players who are in that creative number 10 midfield role, which is great to have. And again, Mark mentioned the word himself, variations across and options, which is super going forward.
Yeah, I think I look at players like him and and Buonanotte as well, and they're exciting players, and no doubt they're exciting in training as well. So I think it will just give everybody a bit of a lift to see new players coming in, like you say about his confidence there. He does seem like a confident boy, so you hope he's going to be like in the dressing room, he's going to show what he's about, his character, his personality, and that can only be good for the group if he's interacting with everybody else.
Well, one thing he said as well in his interview, Matt, he said he had a really good relationship with the supporters at his previous club, and that's the sign, I guess, of a player that does give 100%. Every time he plays, he gives his all for the club.
Yeah, but a lot of number 10s are sort of quite expressive in how they play, aren't they? Because they've got to have that mindset, to open things up and look out for things and see things that other players don't. So they normally got a little bit of a personality about them. Again, going back to just hearing him talk there, Mark's picked up on it. He looks like a bit of a character, which is great. He'll develop into the mix with the spirit of the squad, etc. And also, relate. I think straight away, whether it was his doing or not, but wearing the glasses there in the reveal, whatever. He's not shy. He didn't refuse to wear them, did he? So he's like, he's playing the game, and then support straight away. They're thinking, oh, we like him. He looks a bit of a boy. Yeah, we can relate to him, and hopefully, and I'm sure they will do down the line.
Took a bit of explaining who Oasis were actually for the doing the reveal, which surprised me a little bit.
Surely Oasis reaches as far as
clearly not as far as far as we thought.
Belgium at least.
Yeah. But it was he fully bought into it, and once we played in Wonderwall, he definitely heard of that one. So it was okay. That was okay.
Penny dropped, did it?
Yeah, exactly.
I think they're not always the brightest, these number 10s.
What, attacking midfielders in general. When you do look at that team again and that squad with the substitutes, it's a good point that you've both made actually, and having those numbers, and you'll both know from your times playing the game that when you sign players, are you excited? Even if it's someone that might be in your position, is it still like, oh, that's good that we've got numbers in, there's options?
Yeah,
Does it give everyone a lift?
Less so in your position.
Yeah, less so in your position, yeah. No, I think whenever players come in, you see it with fans a little bit. A new player will come in and it might be a player that they don't really know too much about, but they're automatically excited. Like they're excited at the prospect that this could be a gem. You're excited to see them play for the first time. I think it's the same from the player's point of view. They could buy in a player that might just be like all of a sudden the new king of the dressing room, like and somebody that can it's just a fresh face in there rather than the same people in there all the time. And I think that's important. It's probably one thing that we went a couple of years without doing when we didn't buy too many in windows. But I think it's all of a sudden happening where we are making changes. We are signing players, and it's so important to freshen a squad up.
Don't you think that's funny? I'm sure you're sort of touching on that same thing. That in my experience as well, how quickly certain players with certain personalities and abilities can come in and, like you say, not necessarily take over the changing room, but have a massive impact, even on lads that have been around there like 3, 4, 5 years, collectively as a group, which is a little bit of a rarity, especially these days. But players come and go on the periphery, but every now and then you get a player or two that come in, and in a positive way, they change the whole dynamics of the changing room, don't they?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they'll be sitting in the main seat in the dressing room, and you're like, it just happens. Like it has to be. They don't even need to be the best player or whatever. They just need to have that sort of certain personality and take over, or be heavily involved. But you'd think certain players might go, hang on a minute. I've been here longer and all that, but it doesn't necessarily go like that. If you do it in the right way, you can have a huge impact on the team coming in.
I think a prime example of that would be Connor Cody when he came in, more or less
lads
straight
are
away.
Open to it, aren't they?
Absolutely. Like straight away, just sort of, when I say took over the dressing room, not that weren't in a bad way by any stretch. Like he took over the dressing room. Everything went through him. He was he mixed really well with the young lads. No. The young lads really took to him. The obviously more senior lads took to him. The foreign lads took to him, and he was just this. Well, he still is this guy that he's just infectious.
It helps with the experience that he's had, the pedigree that Connor Cody's had. But I bet when he was 21, he wasn't far different.
No, I can imagine he was exactly the same. I really can.
Speaking of infectious characters, let's go to Jerry Taggart, who is in the press box.
He's infectious anyway.
He's in the press box. He's on co-commentary duty for us today. Good afternoon, Jerry. Big one today, isn't it? Leicester against Villa.
Yeah, good afternoon, chaps. Massive game today. Dan, Villa obviously coming off the back of a defeat last week, similar to Leicester. Both teams be desperate to get back to winning ways. It's a big game for more reasons, and more than one reason.
You finished, Gerald? Yeah, I was waiting for you to ramble on a little bit more there, but afternoon anyway. So I'm not going to ask you about your food because I was.
Because you were eating it with me.
Yes, I know exactly what was devoured there. No, just on our team selection, mate. We've spoken about it quickly. Numerous changes there.
Yeah.
Looking at the the personnel that have come in and the changes that have been made. What do you think was on Steve Cooper's mind, basically?
Yeah, I think, well, number one, the threat of Ollie Watkins is probably one of the reasons why you see Caleb Okoli coming in. No surprise that Ollie Skipp or even Jordan Ayew start today. You know, Jordan Ayew's got a wealth of experience, showed the other night against Tranmere his versatility and his quality, and obviously he's trying to gain some control in that midfield area with Skipp and Harry Winks, and you'll probably see a similar sort of formation today, Matt, that we seen the other night against Tranmere with the three of them on the pitch, where Skipp's probably playing a little bit further forward than Winks. Similarly, Wilfred Ndidi as well, to give that sort of attacking threat. And the same with Ollie Skipp especially, like those little give and goes in and around the edge of the opposition's 18-yard box. That sort of playmaking will be absolutely vital today.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Ndidi gets the nod ahead of Buonanotte. Buonanotte was excellent against Tottenham.
Absolutely, but I think
less impactful against Fulham. But
yeah, I think again, you can. There's multiple reasons probably for that, Matt. You know, the defensive side of the game. Leicester are going to have to defend. You know, they've got good attacking options. Aston Villa and team. You know, you're looking at McGinn, obviously Tielemans, Watkins, Rodgers, Bailey. You know, they've got a bit of pace and a threat from the set piece. So I think, you know, Wilfred getting the nod is, you know, for the other side of the game, as well as, you know, making those bursting runs from deep, those inside forward runs down the sides. He'll be asked to do a big job defensively as well.
Just finally, Jerry, we've been showering Mark with praise as he's had for the last 3 days already. Let's embarrass him a little bit more again. I know you were a huge fan of his during his time here, and what a brilliant career he had.
Yeah, don't tell him that, Dan, for God's sake. But yeah, no, I'm a massive fan of Mark Albrighton's. I think I don't know what the stats say, but you could near as damn it put your money on Mark Albrighton to connect with Jamie Vardy every time he was on the pitch. His work rate was phenomenal as well. I'm actually surprised he's actually, I don't know he's officially called it a day, but I know he's seriously thinking about it. And I was actually a bit surprised he did that, because I still think he's got so much to give to the game. But who am I? He's his own man. But yeah, what a career he's had for Leicester, and especially with Leicester City.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Jerry, we'll hear from you again on co-commentary duty for us in around about 20 minutes. Actually, I'll just quickly pick up on that, Mark, that connection with Jamie Vardy. And he's still going strong, isn't he? What a header that was against Spurs on the opening day. But you got one last season. Was it certainly the last one against Birmingham in the FA Cup? That connection that was so fruitful in your time here.
Yeah, I think sometimes you just play with players that that automatically just happens, and Vards was one of them, and I think our relationship sort of on and off the pitch just complemented each other. We talk about infectious characters, like he's very much that. He's any time he walks into a room, something happens. So he is that guy. I think on the pitch he's very much exactly what you see. He's like a raw talent. Like he's always had that sort of edge to him, and I feel like that's really helped him out over the years.
Do you two? Sorry, basically jumping in. You two click off the pitch as well. Like you seem to get on well. Whenever I've seen you, like in a squad environment, you're very often quite. Not that often you're too far apart, shall we say? But quite. I wouldn't say opposite characters, but like you say, Jamie's like pretty extrovert out there, and you're quite chilled, aren't you?
Yeah.
Just get on with it, but it produces a good mix, yeah?
I think it does, yeah. I think, obviously, with our children are pretty similar ages, so our children really get along, and that brings us closer together. I've always sat in the the dressing room next to him as well. And,
yeah.
So everything just sort of aligned. That me and him would be close friends. We went on holiday together in the summer with families and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, I just think to have been a part of.
He didn't lead you astray, did he?
Oh, not that night. No, but, yeah, he has done in the past. No, I think like with his career as a whole, and like to be a part of his career is amazing, and to see him still going is even better.
Right, let's hope he's on the score sheet again, just as he was a couple of weeks ago. Let's hear from what I believe is his 8th manager here at Leicester City. Steve Cooper has been speaking ahead of this clash with Villa today.
Yeah, well, you have to believe. You have to have belief in your work, and you have to have belief in each other and belief in the plan, and very much stick to it. But of course, we're playing against a Champions League team with great success and been on the rise now for a couple of years, and you know, you have to be aware of that and respect it. But I think the Spurs game is a good reference point of what can happen if you do back your way and you do back. You know, and if you don't as well, from the difference in the two halves. So that's something that we're mindful of. Obviously, different type of game, different formation, you know, different players, coach, etc. But we've got to ensure that, you know, we really take the game to Villa and believe in our concepts and the effect that they can have in the game. And that's only what we've been doing in the preparation, and we'll continue in the next day or so.
A draw and a defeat so far in your first 2 Premier League games. How close do you think your side is? What more do they need to do to get those 3 points on the board?
Well, we believe that, listen, you've got to make it happen in games for sure, but definitely when we've reflected on both games, you know, I know it's a little bit of coulda, woulda, shoulda, but if that was the case, we could have had a better result in both of the games that we played. But there's also lessons to be learned from what it takes to do that at this league. So we'll go into every game believing that we can and will win. But we also are under no illusions of sort of how fine the margins are and what you really need to do to get over the line. And I think the first 2 games have given us enough sort of moments of belief that we can go and sort of play well and win games at this level. But also, it's also reminded us that when you don't get it quite right, that you can be, you know, you can be under the cosh in games and can, you know, things can be going against you. So that's what we're doing. You know, we look at the games closely, but we're really positive in the camp. We're really sort of enthused about what we can do this season. Is a positive culture, and that has to be the approach going into every game.
How important would it be to end this first part of the season, do you think, with a win and back-to-back home wins as well before the international break?
Yeah, it'd be brilliant, of course, and that's the objective, you know, and we would love that, you know, for the supporters as much as anybody else to go into the international break with a positive result and win would be great, you know, and we're going to do everything to try and earn that, to deliver it to everybody. So, and then the international break, of course, you know, they can be, you know, 3 games international break, 3 games or Premier League games international break. You know, in the first sort of few months of the season can be a little bit stop-start. So it's really important that you stay on task with your mindset and your focus and be ready for when these games come.
That was Steve Cooper there speaking in his press conference ahead of the game with Villa today. As we've sort of already touched upon, there was the draw that opening night against Spurs, defeat against Villa. Mark kind of put it nicely earlier. He said if you can put the good parts of both of those games, if they can put that into one performance, they can easily get the 3 points today.
It's had the win against Tranmere as well.
Yeah, of course.
To that, you know, albeit in early rounds of the Carabao Cup, but yeah, there's been, let's say, indifferent play from Leicester really, but you know, Steve Cooper rightly, but not blindly, you know, with good thought, he's picking out the positives of the performances up to now and saying, listen, if we can extract them and be more consistent in our play in certain aspects, we give ourselves a really good chance going forward. And you that's just sort of commonsensical, really, and it's not blind faith in or delusional. It's been reasonable up to now. You'd like a bigger return than 1 point from 2 games, but they haven't been a million miles away from 4 points in 2 games. It's achievable. It's achievable. There are improvements that need to be made. He's aware of that. The players are aware of that. But they're just coming together, aren't they? And finding their feet a little bit back at this level. So nothing to be too despondent about. Even if things go awry today, the Villa are a capable side. It's going to be a tough game. And you're there, you're thinking, well, Leicester need to play well to get something out of it. Villa could be sort of mediocre and still get a point out of it, etc. So that's maybe the difference in the teams at the moment. But it's not to say that Leicester aren't in there with a shout.
Yeah, I think like you touched on in there, I think the way that the style of play has changed over the summer. Obviously, with Enzo last year, he played a totally different style of play to what Steve Cooper plays, and there is that adjustment. Some of the players that are starting were brought in to play how Enzo wanted to play, so all of a sudden there's a small bit of adjustment needed there. So I think it will take a while to settle down. It will take a lot of hours on the training pitch. The international breaks need to be used wisely as well, in terms of getting messages across. And I see the team getting better as the season goes on, with more instruction and the new players settling in.
Yeah.
I think once that happens, they've got a real chance.
Yep, let's quickly remind ourselves then of today's team news before we hand over to the commentators. A couple of the new lads in the starting 11 today for Steve Cooper's 3rd Premier League game in charge. It's Hermansen in goal, Christiansen, Fass, Akoli and Justin across the back 4. Winks and Skip in midfield with Ayew, Ndidi and Fatawu supporting Jamie Vardy. A spot on the bench for Bilal El Khanous as well. Potential to see him for the first time in a Leicester shirt. Very quickly as well, the Aston Villa side, they have Martinez in goal, Digne, Torres, Concert and Bogard across the back 4, Tielemans and Onana in midfield, McGinn, Rodgers and Bailey supporting Ollie Watkins. Obviously, Mark, it's a strong team, isn't it, Villa? There's no getting around that. They're in the Champions League for a reason. They had a fantastic season last time round. They've started this one relatively strongly as well. Leicester know that they are in for a game today, absolutely.
Yeah, I think obviously still living around the Birmingham area, there's a massive. I can sense the feel around Villa at the minute. I can sense how positive everything is around the club. The fans have got a relationship back with the players, and which was lost a little bit when they got relegated, but. I think there's just a big feel-good factor there, so everybody's excited, and the fans are going to come sort of optimistic as well. So they're going to be full of confidence. So it's going to be a tough ask for Leicester to do it, but they need to start well if they're going to stand any chance.
Great occasion though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Villa, for the reason Mark just said, they're flying high, they're going well. Leicester City's striving to get back to that sort of level sometime in the not too far away future, hopefully. But right now they've got a fight on their hands. Back from the Championship into the Premier League, these sort of fixtures are just what the fans, are champing at the bit for, and the players will be too. And what an exciting fixture! It certainly beats Plymouth at home last season, doesn't it? Come Villa here, wonderful side, big manager, big names, etc. What an occasion. Enjoy it.
And add into that the Midlands derby aspect and the Albrighton derby aspect as well.
And can I just say one thing? I know Mark's rightly so had a long montage. What about my goals against Villa? They haven't been featured today.
Unfortunately, we didn't get there.
Totally brushed aside, didn't it? Hey? Oh,
rightly so as well, rightly so. Right, it is indeed time to hand over to our commentary team for this Midlands derby back in the Premier League. As Matt said, it was only a season away, wasn't it? But it's great to have Premier League football back here at King Power Stadium again. Coming up next, we are now, 10 minutes away from kickoff. We've got live commentary with Jerry Taggart and John Dunn. Don't go anywhere.